Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, so today we are going to break down one of the most powerful forces out there, but it's also one of the most overlooked. I'm talking about the compound effect.
All right, let's kick things off with a feeling I bet you know all too well. That sense of just being stuck. That frustrating feeling of stagnation, where all your hard work just doesn't seem to be paying off.
I mean, have you ever felt like that? You put in the hours, you really grind, but it's like you're stuck on a treadmill, right? Solving the same dang problems again and again, and every morning it feels like you're starting from scratch. Like all that effort just, poof, vanishes. And you know what happens then? We fall into this classic trap. We start looking around for some kind of magic bullet, right? A secret trick. Because we see other people's success, that big, beautiful, full-grown tree, and we have no idea about the thousands of tiny, invisible steps it took to get there. We're totally missing the real engine that's chugging along behind the scenes.
So, what is this hidden engine? Well, it's a principle so incredibly powerful that one of the smartest people in history gave it this legendary, almost mythical title. Now, when you hear compound interest, you're probably thinking about money, and that makes sense. But Einstein, he wasn't just talking about your bank account. He was getting at something much, much bigger, a universal law of growth that pretty much applies to every area of your life. And look, if you want a perfect real-world example, just look at Warren Buffett. I mean, this is wild. His insane wealth wasn't built on one single genius stock pick. Nope. It came from decades of just being consistent. And get this, the biggest explosion of his wealth, we're talking over 90% of his entire fortune, didn't even happen until after he turned 56. Think about that. So here's the key takeaway, the thing you really need to get. This isn't just simple addition, you know? It's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's exponential. It's explosive. Your past efforts, they don't just disappear into thin air. No, they become the foundation, the launch pad for everything that comes next. And that makes each new step you take a little bit easier and a whole lot more powerful.
Okay, so to really let this sink in, let's walk through a few powerful analogies. They'll show you exactly how these tiny little actions can grow into absolute giants.
All right, first up, picture a tiny snowball at the very top of a huge, snowy mountain. As it starts to roll, you can barely even see it getting bigger. It's slow. But with every single turn, it picks up a little more snow. Its surface area gets bigger, so it picks up even more snow on the next turn. And it gets bigger and faster and bigger and faster until it's a massive, unstoppable avalanche. And the craziest part? The most dramatic, insane growth happens right there at the very end.
Or how about this one, a rocket launch? It is just mind-boggling how much fuel a rocket burns just in the first few minutes. Almost all of it, just to fight against Earth's gravity. It's this incredible, massive effort for what looks like, well, not a whole lot of progress. But once it breaks free, once it's out of the atmosphere, that tiny little bit of fuel left over can carry it for millions of kilometers with hardly any effort at all.
Okay, you ready for this? Because this next example is where this whole idea goes from interesting to absolutely mind-bending. It all starts with one tiny little domino, just about 2 inches tall. And here's the rule. Each domino in the line is just 1.5 times bigger than the one before it. That's it. Not a huge leap, right? Just a small, consistent increase. Seems pretty simple. Yeah, but check this out. After just 23 of these little dominoes, that tiny 2-inch piece has started a chain reaction powerful enough to knock over a domino as tall as the Eiffel Tower. That's the staggering power of consistent compounding growth. And it gets even crazier. This is the real payoff. By the time you get to the 57th domino, that same chain reaction, that small, consistent growth, has created enough force to knock over a domino tall enough to reach the moon. Yes, the moon. That is the unbelievable, almost magical power you tap into with small daily actions. Look, this is not just some fun thought experiment or a cool physics trick. This principle is working in your life right now, every single day, whether you realize it or not. Think about it. Health, skills, money, the logic is exactly the same. Eating one healthy meal, not going to change your life. Practicing guitar for 1 hour, you're not going to be a rock star. But do it every single day for a year, the change is, well, it's radical. You see those big, heroic, one-time efforts? They don't work. It's the small, daily disciplines that do. But, and this is so important to remember, this whole thing works both ways.
The compound effect doesn't care if you're doing good things or bad things. It's totally neutral. Those small bad habits, eating junk food every day, mindlessly scrolling on your phone instead of reading a book, they also compound. They build on each other until they become huge problems. The direction you go, that choice is yours. Every single day. Okay, so if this is so incredibly powerful, why isn't everyone a millionaire genius in perfect health? Why aren't we all using this to our advantage?
Honestly, the number one reason is impatience. It's that simple. We live in a world that screams instant gratification. We want results now, and so we quit. We give up during that slow, boring, early phase, right before the rocket breaks through gravity, right before the snowball really starts to pick up speed. We quit just before the magic is about to happen.
So what can you do? Here's the blueprint. And look, it's not complicated, but it absolutely requires discipline. Step 1, choose the right things to do, small, positive actions. Step 2, be consistent. Showing up every day is way more important than going all out once in a while. Step 3, be patient. You have to trust the process and know that the biggest growth happens way down the line. And finally, step 4, build habits. Automate your actions so you don't even have to think about them. Let your progress run on autopilot. All right, let's bring this all home. What is the one crucial thing you need to take away from all of this?
You have got to forget about the idea of overnight success. It's a myth. It's a fantasy. What we call overnight success is just the very last moment of a long, slow, compounding journey that nobody ever saw. So focus on the small, maybe even boring choice you can make today. That is where real, lasting transformation is actually born. You've heard this 1,000 times. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. It sounds like a cliche, right? But it is the absolute essence of the compound effect. It all starts with just one workout, one page read, one small choice that you repeat. So I'll leave you with this question. What is that one small step you're going to take today? And more importantly, that you'll repeat tomorrow? Because that single step, when you commit to it, can become the launchpad for a future that's bigger than you can even imagine right now. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.